It made the crash of 2008 feel like a day at the beach. Talk of recovery was all we had heard for years since the crisis. Then, the real crash came. There was no hiding behind promises of recovery this time. But of course, they tried. It became hard to define what ensued. Depression, crash, systemic collapse. These words were tame.
The worst drop in stocks for the year. A stew our passion says of bad economic news from Asia.
I think global meltdown would be the best term in hindsight. Unstoppable and relentlessly ruthless. The crash hit us like a freight train 5 miles long, going 100 miles per hour. Nothing they tried worked as the whole house of cards fell. Some called it a black swan. Others claimed they had seen it coming for a while. All I know is that it seemed like collapse happened everywhere and all at once. First, there were rumors of insolvency in the international banking system. Just like in 2008, massive waves of liquidity poured out of central banks.
Concerns about Europe and now concerns about the U.S. and perhaps Asia.
Bailouts. Great. You heard it everywhere. People grumbling about banks and governments alike. 401ks were the least of people's problems. But then again, we had no reference of what was happening. Wealth was being destroyed at an exponential rate. Here we go again. Raid the coffers and let's get this over with, right? Not this time. It was moving too fast to stop. All the fixes that were tried couldn't stop the crisis in confidence.
The worst day of the year for the stock market. The Dow is now in negative territory.
The market sentiment was permanently shattered, and derivatives were called in, and claims on real assets were made impossible. It seems that no one ever thought these instruments would be paid on. There was nothing backing them. A cascade of failing financial institutions and banks became inevitable. So fell the dominoes. Masses scrambled for security, but in the end, it was an exercise in futility. The ATM machine's electronic transaction system fell shortly after. Cash worked for a few days, if you had it on hand. It was hard to say whether these events culminated out of the financial markets, or if it was the crushing energy costs that set everything off.
There was no hope, no future jobs, only 10%.
The oil shortage was setting in. Energy rates have been skyrocketing throughout the last 6 months. China's economy was rumored to be the final straw. It had stalled amongst the oil shock that had us in the U.S. paying close to $10 a gallon for gas. Even at $200 a barrel, the Saudis couldn't pump enough to satisfy demand. The term peak oil made headline news. Blame was tossed back and forth about vast conspiracies as many tankers sat empty. The inflation effect was bad enough to have most people seriously on edge. But commuting was a buzzword in the media. Looking back, it was a rather trivial issue to worry about. Why worry about getting to work if you're not going to have a job within a week, right? The euro was rapidly losing value, and its fall was a trigger that set U.S. markets into a tailspin. When European financial markets shut down, the all-out crash of confidence ensued and ripped through vast financial empires like ripples in a pond. The price discovery mechanism broke down as money fired across oceans and continents looking for safety. Paper soared and crashed intraday during the final week the U.S. markets were actually open. This was supposed to be a temporary measure, but most knew at this point it was all a web of lies. Funny thing about a bank holiday, everything stops. All commerce froze up like someone hit the light switch on the real economy. In the end, it all ground to a halt under its own crushing weight. It was breathtaking to witness a system that seemed so robust come unraveled within such a short time frame. This was an event, no, the event of the 21st century. It rang out across the globe. The collapse of the post-industrial era had begun. And what? That's a story for another day.